So what do we got here?
Holy cow, a cannon.
This is gonna be a good time right here.
All right, well, let's blow something up. Earlier, I got a call from a guy selling an antique cannon. I can tell he means business because he wants to meet at the shooting range. So I'm taking Corey, Chum, and my buddy Sean to go check it out. So this is cool. What do we got here?
I have the cannon that Higgins used in Magnum PI.
What's Magnum PI?
Really, dude?
Magnum PI was a show in the 1980s. He lived in this giant house owned by some mysterious rich dude, and Higgins lived there too.
Talking about the hairy dude that always drove around the Ferrari?
Yeah. God.
Okay, I got you now. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I called the guys down from the pawn shop today to check out my antique cannon. They always bring big bucks at the auctions. I'm looking to get 50 grand today, and the lowest at this point might be 30.
In the 1890s, let's say a guy had a 150-foot yacht, you wouldn't want to have a little toy cannon on there. It would look silly. So you have this.
So this was just used to signal people, or?
Yeah, it was never intended to shoot anything.
Okay.
This thing is awesome. You just don't see them this big because how many 200-foot yachts were there back then? Not a whole lot.
All right, so how did you get this thing?
I picked it up from another collector friend of mine.
Okay.
And I have pictures of the cannon in Magnum PI.
Magnum PI was an iconic show back in the 1980s.
Rick, look at this.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's pretty damn good.
What's it like to work with Burt Reynolds?
Who?
Burt Reynolds, Magnum PI.
I'm not Higgins. And that was Tom Selleck.
This is really unusual. I love antique guns that were used in TV shows, and Magnum PI was huge in the 80s. But even if collectors don't care about the TV angle, they'll love this cannon.
It was originally a muzzle loader, and Strong cut their breech on it and put it on their carriage.
If this is a Strong, they are the #1 as far as collectability for this type of a cannon.
So we got like the Cadillac of cannons here, right?
The Cadillac.
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you mind if my buddy Sean checks it out? Anything old arms, old armor, anything like that, he knows.
Sure.
Okay. It's just a couple things that I need to look at.
Things can really go wrong with a piece like this. So Sean really needs to check it out, just to make sure this thing isn't too good to be true.
This is the marking you want to see. Strong Manufacturing, New Haven, Connecticut, USA. It's kind of rubbed out, but right in between this arc and the bottom is a Federal Eagle stamp, which is synonymous with that marking.
So did they just put this apparatus on the back of it, or did they do anything else to the cannon?
Chances are they probably would have sleeved the interior just for added strength. This is a nice quality piece. It's rare because of the size, and very, very collectible because of the Strong conversion.
Okay, so what do you think it's worth?
Minimum 20,000, maybe to 40,000. The other part of it is it has provenance from being on television shows. That adds a premium, but the only place to really maximize is an auction because of the exposure. All you need are 2 people that want this item bad enough, and even if, let's say, the auction estimate is 20 to 40,
Yeah.
they may take it to 80 or 100.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know.
Yeah.
All right, so after hearing all that, how much you want for it?
I'll tell you what. Let's breech load it up, fire it off, and then we'll talk.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's shoot it real quick. It'll be fun.
When he was saying $20,000 to $40,000, it was a low estimate. If I haven't sold these guys on this cannon yet, wait till they see it after we fire it.
How you doing, sir?
What can I do for you, sir?
I got something I don't want to put in pawn.
Rick! Corey! Chumley! Hey, Trav. Where the hell's everybody at?
I think they went to go look at a cannon or something.
I like cannons myself. Damn kids. Went out to fire a cannon. And they know I like to fire cannons, so
Cannon?
yeah, I'm gonna kill Corey.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're gonna fire this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, load her up. Let's keep a good distance, and I don't want anybody standing directly behind the breech. If this thing were to come off, it's gonna come off straight. Being now over 100 years old, that's going to be the weakest point. All right, Let's do it.
Do it up, Higgins.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire. I knew that was going to be a good one. Oh my God. Wow. Nice.
Unbelievable how loud this thing is. I want this cannon.
That was really nice. That was really cool. But let's talk some money. How much you want for it?
Can we start at 60,000?
You can start anywhere you want. Magnum PI is cool, but if you want cash now, 12 grand is what I'd pay you for it.
Wow.
You know,
That's pretty light. How about you get me closer to 40?
I look at it, if I pay you cash, I take all the risk, I bring it to auction.
Yeah.
What I get is what I get.
Yep. It is one of a kind.
It's rare.
There'll never be anything like it again.
But I have to look at it from a financial point of view, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you 15 grand.
I'm willing to come down to 35, and that's my minimum.
You know, it's cool, dude, but I mean, we're just not gonna be able to make a deal,
That's all right.
okay?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for showing it to me. Thanks for shooting it.
That was awesome.
He made a big mistake. He could have made a ton of money. I think he's kind of looking like a dumbass.
That was a ball, guys. That was unbelievable.
That was fun, man.
Pizza for everyone.
Nice. We got some pizza?
Sweet, I'm starving.
I bet they're real hungry after playing around in the desert with cannons. Hey, back off, Ricky.
Back off what?
Back off the pizza. Antoine, you can have a slice. The old man always gets the last laugh. Trav, go ahead and get a slice. Don't shrug your shoulders at me. Y'all went out and shot a cannon and I wasn't invited. I bought pizza for the crew. You ain't invited.
Well, I do.
I didn't order enough for y'all.
Well, there's still 2 slices left.
Tough. Y'all get back to work now.
He's just a bitter old man.
Trying to go order a pizza.
So Corey and I are currently meeting with this guy at a local shooting range who's got an antique mountain cannon. He wants $50,000 for it, which might be a crazy price. Fortunately, Alex is going to meet us out here, and he's going to clear all this up for us.
Wow, that is good looking. Sort of the nickname for these are called screw guns because this big collar here, this part comes off and the whole thing unscrews so the muzzle and the breech become 2 pieces. So you could put them on mule trains and get them up into the mountains and set up the gun in under 10 minutes and be firing. Now these are really rare. Fewer than 200 of these were made. They had a very short window, about 1901, 1902, and then they were obsolete because this whole system back here is friction primed, which was an archaic way of making this gun fire that developed in 1863. But, I mean, this is a beautiful, beautifully maintained cannon. Here is the original data plate. So, yeah, it is dated 1902. So, the way the law is in the United States, if it's made after 1898, typically a cannon would be considered an explosive device and would be regulated. This is not because of that friction prime system. Because it's such an archaic system, this is still considered an antique. And so you can certainly buy it if you like it. There's nothing legally stopping you from doing that. Do you mind if I open up the breech door and take a look?
Go for it.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, look at that. I mean, the board's really nice. It's maintained well. There is pitting, but you can still see all the lands and grooves quite crisply. I don't see any reason why we couldn't fire it if you're up for it.
Let's do it. I'm down.
I'd love to shoot it.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun. And if you want to sell this, you need to show collectors that it can fire because these things are really fun to shoot.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll go back to my shop and start getting ready.
You grab some stuff for it. We'll go have lunch. Meet you back here in 2 hours.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I'm hoping it's gonna fire. It's maintained well, so we'll see how it goes.
So we're gonna fire this thing?
We are going to fire it. I got supplies for it, and I even found this old antique shell, which has an original copper ring on it. And the copper ring is softer than the rifling inside the barrel, and it'll spin it better, so it's more accurate. To that end, I set up an old wine barrel, and I put some special stuff inside, so if I hit it, you'll get to see what's in there.
Okay. So load the thing up. I can't wait.
All right. So the targets today are wooden wine barrels, and I have rigged them with explosives, and I haven't really told the guys that. So if we hit it, if I'm accurate with this thing, it's gonna go boom. So I put the projectile in. Now, I made some powder packs. This is filled with black powder. I'm gonna close the breech. Okay, this is a friction primer. This is exactly what they would have used in 1902. And they would have done this exact process with a lanyard. All right, it's loaded.
Okay, so at this point, it'll shoot or blow up, right?
Exactly. Fire in the hole! Yeah! Oh my God! What? That was so...
Whoa!
Awesome.
We got points right there.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
That was awesome.
Well, we got like 15, 20. Yeah, this
We had at least 20 feet, Rick. That was safe.
Well, it works. That is called shrapnel. I got to admit, mega cool. Okay,
Mega cool.
So tell me, what is this thing worth?
I think in this condition, doing what it can do and how beautifully restored it is, anywhere 35, 40,000.
Okay. So will you take 20 grand for it?
Oh. Can you do 25?
Yes, absolutely. We could do 25. He let us blow something up with his cannon. Give the guy the 25, man.
Okay. 25 grand.
All right, man. Can we blow up one more thing?
As long as I get to pull the trigger.
Well, you guys don't know if we have another barrel.
I know you, and I know we do.
We absolutely do.
Yes. I'm totally happy with the 25. It was just sitting in the storage unit collecting dust, so if these guys can take it and start shooting it, you know, that's totally okay.
I am a warrior. Thanks so much for selling me this thing, man.
No worries, buddy. Thank you.
That was
Thanks,
great.
Alex. This is great.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna take the money from the sale and just put it into savings and hang on to it.
Holy cow. A cannon.
In my opinion, being a cannon collector, the bigger the better. My passion has always been towards field artillery. I bought this at an auction back east about 10 years ago, and now it's time to pass it on to someone else.
So you're looking to pawn it or sell it?
I'd like to sell it.
First thing we always ask a customer is, do you want to pawn it or sell it? If they pawn it, we take it as collateral, loan them money against it, and they can pick it up later. If they sell it, we own it outright.
What can you tell me about this thing?
Well, it's an 1890s Hotchkiss cannon.
Okay.
They say it was used in the Indian Wars. The Battle of Wounded Knee, they say.
Before today, I thought I'd seen it all. But a cannon, I mean, what can I say?
So what kind of use have you done with it? I mean, have you like...
It just sits in my front room, just like a painting on a wall.
I love it.
Yeah. I have it facing the front door for anybody who wants to come in.
Without a doubt, I'm interested in this cannon, but there is so much I have to find out about it before I even attempt to make an offer.
So you know if this thing works?
Well, I've never fired it. I'm not a pyrotechnic expert, but I believe it will.
Okay. Do you know what caliber it is?
Well, they call it a 2-pound Hotchkiss. I would assume that would be the weight of the shell, the 2-pound.
Well, I know that land guns are supposed to be measured by the diameter of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And only sea guns are supposed to be measured by how many pounds the ball weighs.
Oh, that's new to me.
Yeah, that's...
And I'm a collector.
Okay, so what are you looking to get out of this thing?
Well, I paid $20,000 10 years ago. I'd assume it would be worth at least $30,000.
You know, it's not out of the bounds of possibility. If I can make money off it, I'll buy anything.
Okay.
Here's my big 3 concerns, okay?
Sure.
It looks so good, I'm afraid it might be a reproduction or something like that. I don't know if it fires, and I know on old guns like this, the difference between a firing gun and a non-firing gun is a huge difference.
Oh, that's right.
Okay? And number 3 is, I don't know if that's a good price, but I know a guy who knows a lot of stuff about old military stuff. Let me give him a call. Let me see if I can get him down here today, and maybe we can do something.
All righty. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
I love this cannon, but there's no way I can buy it until I make sure it's authentic and it fires. Before I do that, I have to bring in a buddy of mine who's an expert in 19th century weapons. Hey, Rick, how's it going?
Hey, Rick, yeah. What do you got here?
A cannon.
Very nice.
Normally, when I meet with an expert, I like to meet with them one-on-one, but in certain situations, when it's a really expensive item, I don't want to take the responsibility if something happened to that item.
Well, you thinking of buying this cannon?
If I can make a few bucks off it, yeah.
Okay, well, let's give it an eyeball here. I've been a cannon restorer for about 15 years now. I restore cannons anywhere from Revolutionary War on up till World War II. 1890, as indicated here.
Okay.
By Hotchkiss of Paris, who is an American, by the way.
Okay.
Who moved over there during the Civil War and set up shop.
Do they make any reproductions of these things?
No. ATF won't allow it.
Okay.
So when I first walked up to this cannon, I was really impressed. We don't see these come on the market very often. Most of them are kept in collections and they just don't show up. This is the first modern, self-contained cartridge firing gun in American inventory. These cannons were sold to the U.S. predominantly for fighting Native Americans or natives, and later the Spaniards or insurrectos. They were prized for their portability. They are called a mountain cannon. They bought 57 of these guns over a period of years.
57 total?
Yes.
Right now I got 2 things going through my head. It's rare and that's cool, and it's rare and that's expensive.
Because the patina and little rust here and there, that's all indications that this is the real deal.
Okay.
In my opinion, this cannon is 100% authentic, in good solid condition. They're not reproducing these at all. It's a good buy for Rick.
Do you know if it'll fire?
Well, we'll just have to look at it here. Oh, very nice bore. That's a good shootable bore. That's a good sign. I think this could probably fire pretty good.
Okay. So how much does something like this go for? I mean, what can I pay for it and still make a few bucks?
A good shootable gun like this vintage, this condition, I would say $40,000 all day long.
Oh, wow. That's good for me. I expected about 30.
Well, yeah, well, we haven't seen if it fires yet, and there's still a little negotiating to do.
Well, I was asking 30, and he said it's worth upwards of 40 if it fires.
Okay, don't be expecting 40, because remember, I gotta resell this thing. Just because it's worth $40,000 doesn't mean that's what I'm gonna pay for it. That's the collector price, and I'm not a collector. I'd like to go take it out and fire it.
All right.
Okay, so, because if it does fire, I know what I'm buying. If it doesn't fire, I know what I'm buying.
Well, that's fair enough.
All right, well, let's go see if it shoots.
Okay.
It shoots, I'll give you the 30 grand.
Deal.
Okay.
I know the cannon's worth 40,000, but his offer of 30,000 is real fair, especially if it fires and he's happy with it. I could live with that.
This is an ammo box back from the day, made out of pine. This is the same kind of ammo box that would be loaded onto a mule. It shoots a 1.65-inch diameter shell. These are turned out of aluminum. The originals would have been exploding shells with about as much power as a modern hand grenade.
Can you still buy the exploding tips?
Absolutely not. They're strictly forbidden. You want to make sure you have a clean bore for maximum accuracy here. That way you get a consistent shot pattern.
So do you mind if I shoot it?
No, I prefer not to for safety reasons.
I'm pretty safe.
Oh, sorry.
You mind if I catch the ball?
Go ahead.
What can I say? God bless Chum. I mean, sometimes I wonder why I even bring him along.
How accurate is this going to shoot?
I've shot guns like this up over 1,000 yards and hit the target.
All right, this is the moment of truth. If it fires, it's 30 grand.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna get it dialed in so we can kill your plant down range there.
That's 30,000. Now it's going to go up every time he shoots it.
Cannon fired, a deal's a deal, and I own a cannon. I hope I did a good thing. I don't know.
That's a happy $40,000 grin on you, you know?
That's a $30,000 grin.
Yeah, right. Just shot the gun, worked perfectly. Gave me the $30,000 and I'm on my way.
From time to time, I get a call from this guy who collects cannons. We've never made a deal, but he just called me again and promised me I would love this one. So Corey Chum and I are gonna go meet him out at the gun range. So what do we got here?
It's an antique parade or saluting cannon.
I'd like to shoot a potato out of it.
I called the guys at the pawn shop today to come down and see my antique parade cannon. This cannon, I actually keep it in my house, but it is a little bit on the large side. I've done a lot of research, and I'm pretty sure it's worth $60,000.
Can you tell me anything about it?
This is obviously a breech-loading cannon. You insert a cartridge in it that's preloaded with powder, and it was used by the Civil War soldiers after the war at a GAR post. Oh, do you know what that is?
Yeah, the Grand Army of the Republic.
This was their cannon that they used in memorial parades to salute the Civil War soldiers, and it produces a very nice, substantial report.
So it's loud.
Extremely loud.
The Grand Army of the Republic was a veterans group that started right after the Civil War. They were just a social group when they started, but they grew into one of the most powerful organizations for veterans.
So where did you get this thing?
I bought it from a museum that was deacquisitioning some items.
Okay. Did they have any paperwork or anything else with it when you bought it?
Not really, to tell you the truth.
Is the carriage original and the case on?
Everything is all original.
This is an amazing old cannon. You rarely see one of these in private hands, and collectors go crazy for them. But I hate that he's got no paperwork for it. You have to be really careful about stuff like this.
So why did you want to sell this thing?
My neighbors are getting pissed.
Okay. Let me call up a buddy of mine. Let me get him down here, have him take a look at it. If everything's legit, maybe we can do something. I really want to hear this thing go boom.
Oh, you'll love it. All right, let's do it.
Let me go give my buddy a call.
He's bringing in an expert. Well, that's good. Maybe he can alleviate his concern, and he can pay.
Hey, Sean, what's
How's it
going on,
going?
buddy?
Today, Rick called me out to the middle of nowhere, and this thing better be worth it because this was a long drive. Holy
Check out this badass cannon.
yeah. So what research have you done about this?
Well, the first owner would have been the GAR Post and the Sons of Veterans. They had it built for them for the parades.
Civil War veterans, they would want to have GAR conventions, Grand Army of the Republic, and all the veterans would gather with their families, and they'd fire one of these big cannons out of respect for their fallen soldiers. And you fired it?
Yeah, I have fired it.
I really want to hear this thing go boom.
Let's burn some powder.
Awesome. Let's
go.
load this thing up.
Get
Your
it
cannon,
done.
your honors.
All right, I'm gonna put the cartridge on.
Okay.
Screw off this collar, put it around the cartridge, and then screw it onto the breech. And that also acts as a shell extractor when you want to remove it from the cannon. There it goes in like that. And it will lock in position. And you need that lanyard, stick it on here. And it's ready to go, and you pull the lanyard, and she's gonna let loose.
Guys, make sure your earpieces are in, and it wouldn't even hurt to put your hands over your ears on top of that when this thing goes. All right, you guys need to get back.
Okay.
Three, two, one, fire!
Sweet. That boom knocked my glasses off my head.
I felt a shockwave hit me. It was amazing. The guy was right. Now that I've seen it fire, I'm hooked. It'll look amazing in my showroom, if I can make it fit.
My big concern is it legal to own this thing?
Absolutely. You definitely have to know what you're buying.
I can buy any cannon made 1898 and back, and there's no federal paperwork, an antique firearm, the government doesn't care about them because no one's going to war with these things.
Yeah.
But 1899 and forward, there can be some problems.
Yeah.
I want to make sure if I buy this thing, the feds aren't going to be, running through my door and throwing me in cuffs.
Absolutely. All right, so I need to look at certain aspects of this to determine, hopefully, when that barrel was made. So what research have you done about the plaque?
Yeah, all it says is Ricketts Battery and the camp number 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom, it looks like SEPT for the abbreviation of September. I see a curl down here of a 3. And it's actually 1903.
I can't buy any guns made after 1898, so this looks like a total bust.
September of 1903, this was dedicated, but just the pure fact that this was applied to this barrel doesn't tell me without a shadow of a doubt that this was made in 1903. Yeah. The overall form of this might be 1890s. This is where it becomes a real gray area when it comes to the law, that this is okay in Nevada.
All right, so it's something I would definitely love to buy. But until I know everything for sure, I can't even make an offer.
Okay.
I would love to buy this cannon, but unless he can track down some documentation proving when it was made, there's no way I can touch it. What do we got here?
I've got a hand cannon. That thing looks like it could do some damage.
I can't imagine someone robbing a liquor store, putting the fuse in this thing right here, lighting it, and go, hold on, hold on.
Came to the pawn shop today to try to sell my hand cannon. I'm really interested in getting some cash out of it. I would like to try to get $500 for it. The least I would take probably $100.
Where in the world did you get this?
My grandfather was into guns, and it just ended up in my hands.
It looks like this was owned by a pirate.
There were hand cannons around 1000 AD, basically long pipes. They'd put some gunpowder in the back of it, shards of metal, pieces of bamboo and other things. They would hold it, and they would light it with like a fuse. And that's how the first guns were used. The term hand cannon is used to describe a really big pistol, like something Clint Eastwood would carry in a movie. But some of the first firearms actually were small cannons that you carried and fired like this one. There was never a pistol built like this. This thing was probably made in the past 20 years, and someone made it as a novelty.
Okay.
It's a modern gun, but it's a muzzle loader, so I can buy it. The federal government doesn't consider this a gun, believe it or not. The casting looks all right. From the looks of it and how beefy it is, I imagine it would shoot. I wouldn't put a large charge in this thing. This uses black powder. It's a combination of saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur, and all those things are really corrosive. Old weapons would really get gummed up and the barrels would get clogged. I wish he would have taken better care of it. He never cleaned it after he fired it.
Yeah.
Or you fired.
Can I check it out?
It's all yours.
This thing's pretty heavy. Light it for me.
This is a fun little piece, and it actually works. But since it's kind of a novelty, it's going to appeal to a lot less collectors than a real gun would. So what do you want to do with this?
I want to sell it.
How much did you want for it?
I was thinking 500.
I was thinking more like 75 bucks.
Come on, somebody's going to be interested in that.
Someone's going to be interested in it, but not for a lot of money. It's not what your normal gun collector buys.
Nothing high at 150.
I'll tell you what, I'll go 100 and a quarter just so I can see this guy shoot it.
All right.
125. All right.
I feel good about $125. My wife will figure out how to get the money out of me. She wasn't interested in displaying it in the house, so she'll be happy.
Hey, boss, check out this hand cannon.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever seen.
Yeah, but I'll do some damage with that.
Earlier today, I bought a novelty hand cannon. Even though it's not designed to be a serious firearm, Chumley thinks it's the coolest thing ever and can't put it down.
Chumley, you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with this.
I can shoot a nickel out of the sky.
You shoot a nickel out of the sky, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. You couldn't hit this at 20 feet.
I can hit that at 20 feet with ease.
It has no rifling, nothing. You just...
Doesn't matter, it's all about the aim. I bet you if we take that out shooting, I'll hit a coffee cup, but you're gonna have to give me something like a paid day off.
There's no way you're getting a day off, but I'll let you leave like an hour early, just for the chance to watch you make a fool out of yourself. Deal?
All right, let's do this. Be prepared to eat my dust.
Corey, take care of your prodigal child.
Chum, you sure you want to do this?
For an hour off? Let's do this. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
It's brass, it's not steel.
Well, I'm gonna earn my keep.
All right, point it at the cup.
Light me up.
Oh! Down! I can't believe that.
That's
That's
how
the
you
most
do it.
ridiculous thing I have ever seen.
No, that's accuracy.
The thing doesn't even have sights, chum. You were just the luckiest man alive.
Chumonomics.
Hey, what can I help you with?
I got this cannon, toy cannon, I think. I was curious. I'd kind of like to see what it's worth and maybe try to sell it.
That's a pretty sweet toy. Can you imagine terrorizing your sister's Barbie collection with this bad boy? Throw a G.I. Joe on top and just right in.
Fire in the hole! I decided to come to the pawn shop today. I found this miniature cannon at a garage sale and wanted to bring it over and possibly sell it. If it's worth some money, you know, why not take the money and run?
Where in the world did you get this?
Garage sale.
Do you know anything about it, or?
No, the people said it was in their family. They didn't want it anymore. And
okay.
Every now and then I go around to these things, and it just looked really cool. And I thought I'd pick it up. Thought my kids would get a kick out of it as something to have around the house.
I think it's really old. Those are hand-cut threads right there, which means probably before the 1830s, 1840s.
Wow.
All the wood is oak, and what's got me intrigued here, this is real bronze right here. Okay, and something this old made out of bronze was expensive. Bronze was not cheap. It was expensive metal, and it's hard to work with. There's certain things I can tell you about this just by looking at it. How and when it was made, that it was expensive, and that I've never seen one before. But that doesn't put me in a great position to make a smart buy. So what do you want to do with it?
If it's worth something, then I know what I paid for it, so I may sell it.
You know, I have no idea what it's worth, and I need to know how old it is. Those are my two big concerns with the thing. It looks like a toy to me, but it's also like a gun. And I'm just trying to figure out who I should call. If I should call a really old gun expert, or should I call a really old toy expert?
Whichever's going to give me the most value.
Well, let me call up some buddies, figure out if anybody knows anything about this, and I'll try and get them in here tomorrow. Would that be good with you?
Sure, that's great.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.
This thing is really neat, but I need to know what it is for sure before I make an offer. So I need to make some phone calls and get someone down here to take a look at it. Well, this is it. It looks old.
Awesome. So where did you get this?
Garage sale.
You got this at a garage sale?
Yeah, thought my kids would get a real kick out of having something like this as a toy.
This is definitely not a toy. It may look like a toy, but it's not. This little cannon can pack the same punch as a pistol or a musket. If you were on the business end of one of these things, it would definitely kill you. Actually, this dates to the 18th century. And just the form of the barrel, and especially being it of bronze, this is literally a miniature cannon barrel. This was more for instruction. It would be like a military officer trying to teach his kids the principles about firing a cannon.
So this would be like a lesson point where you can teach me how to use a big cannon from learning.
Exactly. And you know, the other part of this is that these were really loud noisemakers. So sometimes even on shipboard, they would have signal cannons. We don't know where this was used, but it could have been used on a ship as a signal gun.
So you think this thing will fire?
We'd need to really look at it closely beforehand, but I don't see why not.
Okay. And what do you think it's worth?
You know, everything looks great. It looks all authentic. There's hardly any restoration. I mean, there's maybe a newer screw put in there, but very, very minor. I'm gonna say in the ballpark of probably 2,000 and up.
Okay.
You know, this is just a really wonderful thing. This gives guys like me hope that there's still stuff out there that can be found.
Thanks for coming in, Sean. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
When the expert said it was worth $2,000, I was like, cha-ching, I can't believe that. I've paid $50 for this thing.
Okay, so what do you want to do with it? You want to pawn it or sell it?
No, I want to sell it.
So how much you want for this thing?
Well, Sean said 2,000. I'd like to get 1,500 for it.
I'm not going to go 1,500 bucks. I'm thinking more like 700 bucks. I mean, this thing's going to sit around a long, long time before I sell it.
You don't know that. I mean, I understand it may sit, but it may not, too.
I got to resell this thing, and it's not something that just people walk in here every day wanting.
I'm 15. What's the best you think you could do?
The best I'm going to do is 800 bucks.
That's good. I mean, I paid $50 for it. That's a hell of a return. That's a deal.
Yes.
Okay, 800 bucks. Time to go write them up.
Let's go write this stuff over there, man.
Great, thanks.
Rick, we gotta go test this thing out.
I'm really glad I bought this antique cannon. It's gonna look great in the display case. And eventually, I think I'm gonna get a really good price for it. And if I can actually get it to fire, it might even be worth more.
All right, remember, these things were instructional devices. And, you know, even though it looks like a toy, it really isn't. This will definitely kill you if you were on the business end of it. So it's not something to take lightly.
Okay.
Don't let the size fool you. This thing could cause some serious damage. You're gonna load this thing up. Gonna put about 50 grains of black powder in here.
50 grains?
50 grains. Then the projectile. You're gonna load it down, pack it in good. Then we're gonna put a little bit of priming powder on the touch hole. And then I'm gonna use this as a lens stock like they did in the day and have a burning fuse on the end. Gives me some distance just to be on the safe side.
All right.
So when I touch this thing off, we need to be far away. Because
Okay.
this thing hasn't been fired in, you know, who knows how long.
I got to admit, I'm a little nervous. I just hope it doesn't blow up in our faces.
Okay, guys, here we go.
Yeah!
Nice.
Look at that.
That was
So what do you
great.
think?
It's definitely not for kids, Sean.
Absolutely not.
Or chums.
I think I proved myself by now.
Thanks a lot, Sean. It was a blast.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you.
This thing is amazing. Who knew this little thing could pack such a wallop?
So you don't even stop and say hi first? You just go straight to the cannon?
I was really curious about what size the bore was. How you doing?
How's it going?
Hey, man.
What's up, man? How you doing,
Good
Al?
to see you.
Good to see you, too.
I called Rick in Vegas and told him about this Dutch East India Company cannon that he had to come and see. Rick is really attracted to things that are a little bit different, but also has some kind of cultural reference. And so this is the ultimate piece.
So, what do you think?
So it's a 2.5-inch bore. In English naval terms, that means it's a 2-pounder, or they also call this size cannon a falcon. This is a classic naval cannon. I mean, I told you it would be worth coming to see, right?
It's pretty amazing.
It's impossible to tell what the history of this really was, or where it was found. But the Dutch East India Company merchant ships were all over the South Pacific. And so, you know, the spice routes, all the trading, I mean, they had an incredibly strong navy. But the pirates knew that these guys were carrying millions of dollars in goods. And so if they could capture what was on that, they were set. This is exactly what pirates would want.
All right, so is it all original?
So according to this marking, Peter Seest made this cannon in 1763 in the city of Amsterdam for the Dutch East India Company, which is the VOC, which means Dutch East India Company in Dutch. And the nice thing about this VOC is it's not just engraved in. There's actually a small raise to these letters, which means it's part of the original casting.
Okay.
The tube itself is 100% correct. The way in which it's cast, all of these bands, all of this is correct. The patina is excellent. This is extremely hard to fake. This greenish, dark greenish color is exactly what collectors look for. But the biggest test is this one. It's heavy enough. Ones that are copies made to deceive, they essentially use a foam core cast around it, and it's half the weight it should be. This is actually a really nice example, the best example of this kind of cannon I've ever seen.
Nice.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, before I give you a value, Rick, I think if we could shoot it, it'd be really fun, but it would also prove a higher value to Rick to see a working cannon.
I mean, are you gonna ruin my patina? That's not gonna happen, is it?
The patina will not be ruined.
Patina, as long as my patina's okay.
Your patina's gonna
then
be
we're
fine.
Good.
All right, so do we meet at the range?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, cool.
You meet us there?
Yeah, see you guys there.
So you guys look like you're ready to go.
Hey, Rick.
Let's go where, Rick?
I mean, it looks perfect. I really think she's safe to fire.
All right, well, let's blow something up.
Anything that's associated with pirates is kind of folklorish and cool, and this is the ultimate piece. But being able to fire it is really important for collectors because you don't buy a cannon unless it can shoot. If it fires and it fires well, I'll be able to give an accurate value, and it should be pretty good. Thumb the vent.
All right.
All right. Introduce charge. Ramming. Introduce ball. Ramming. Okay, Rick, you can move your thumb.
Okay.
All right, she's rammed, she's ready. Eyes and ears on, please.
That was great. That's like a lot better than a 44 mag. Yeah.
So I think based on what we just saw and how well it performed, I would give a value on it at about 30,000.
Okay.
30.
Yeah.
35 with that patina? Come on.
Anything can happen in an auction.
All right.
But typically tubes like this that might not be quite as nice go for 15 to 20. I'm almost doubling the price. I think 30 is fair. Could you get more? Maybe.
Maybe.
But I'm safe at 30.
Okay.
All right?
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Alex.
Leave
Thanks
you
a
guys
lot.
to it.
All right, see you, man.
That was fun.
So you wanted 15,000 for it, right?
That's, come on, 30.
I'd give you 18 grand for it.
I can't do 18. I mean,
you can put it in an auction, but like, if you get it in an auction, remember you're gonna pay a gazillion dollars in auction fees and everything else.
can you be at like, can you be at 25? Can we?
18 is what I could do. I mean, it's just, that's the number that makes sense to me.
That's it, max.
That's it.
I gotta hold on to it then. I'm sorry.
Well, if you change your mind, or if your wife makes you sell it, call me up.
All right, thanks a lot, Rick.
It was fun watching that thing go off, though, wasn't it?
Definitely.
I need to come to the East Coast more often.
This is gonna be a good time right here.
Where in the world did you get this?
Actually, I built it.
You built it?
What the hell do you shoot out of this thing?
Bowling balls. I decided to come to the pawn shop today to see if I can sell my bowling ball mortar. I built several mortars over the years, and I'm usually pretty accurate with this. We've hit targets anywhere from 100 yards up to 815 yards away. It's worth around $15,000 to $20,000, and that's what I'm willing to take.
You built this yourself? Have you fired it?
Yes, we've fired it about 10 times now.
Have you built these things before?
Yeah, we've made several of them, various sizes. We compete with them throughout the West. We go to anywhere from 5 to 10 competitions each year.
I mean, it looks like a 17th, 18th century mortar.
Looks like a cannon to me.
There's a difference between a cannon and a mortar.
What is it?
A cannon fires into something, a mortar lobs into something. So if you got a big castle you're trying to get into, or a fort or something like that, you can lob these over the edge of it, and they just destroy things. Any rooftops inside, they would keep on going until they hit the bottom floor, plain and simple. Mortars have been around for hundreds of years. They revolutionized warfare. It was hard enough defending against a regular cannon. Now they had to defend themselves against 100-pound balls falling out of the sky. What'd you build it out of?
We built it out of a heavy sleeve. It's about 2 inches thick. It's a military-grade oxygen tank that we cut. We inverted that. We put our powder chamber in there. It's about 6 inches long or so.
But the bottom's an oxygen tank.
Yes, it's a military-grade, half-inch thick oxygen tank.
And that's supposed to handle all the pressures and everything?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it just concerns me having that oxygen tank back there. I mean, you got the barrel that's 2 inches thick, but you got the, the back of the bore, which takes all the pressure at only ½ an inch. If you don't have the correct metal and the correct design and the correct welding, this mortar is not a mortar anymore. It's a giant pipe bomb, and I'm not going to be near this thing when he lights it off. What do you want to do with it?
Sell it.
How would you want to sell it?
Because I have several of them. I build them and shoot them and sell them and compete with them.
How much do you want for it?
I'd like $15,000.
I mean, I'm interested in it. I think I might be able to do something with it. Before I even want to talk about buying it, though, I want my buddy to check it out and maybe shoot it, and maybe we can do some business.
That sounds good.
All right, sounds like a plan. This thing looks awesome. There's a big group of mortar enthusiasts here in Las Vegas I think I could sell this to. The only question is, will this thing blow up in my face? This is what I called you about.
All right. An old Cohern. That's a nice replica. So what would you like to know, Rick?
My major concern is this thing safe? Because I can't resell it. I don't want to keep it for myself. I don't want to fire it if it's not.
I guess that's understandable. I appreciate the safety factor. I'm an expert in cannons, mortars, and handguns. When I'm inspecting a mortar, I look for the integrity of the wells, the integrity of the material used in the design. If they're not constructed properly and welded together correctly, the force of the propellant can separate the components, and that's very dangerous. Mortars mainly lob. The trajectory is governed by the elevation plus the powder charge. The larger the powder charge, the further the trajectory.
So do you think it's safe to shoot?
Number one, this is not cast iron, this is modern steel. It's 10 times stronger than the old cast, the way they were originally made. I see it's got multiple passive welds on there. The components are very strong. I believe this particular one here weighs about what, 700 pounds?
Yeah, about 700.
I would think that it would be safe.
Okay.
But just like any other firearm ever made, there is always danger involved. I wouldn't be afraid to fire it, but I'm not going to fire it.
Okay. Thanks, Leroy. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Now that I know it's safe to fire, there's no question. I want it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I can't wait to load it up. But before I can do anything, I got to get it for a price that makes sense. All right, so you want to sell it?
Yeah.
So how much you want for it?
You know, like I said, I'd like $15,000 for it.
I mean, no, realistically, what do you want for it?
Give me an offer over 10.
You know, I'll give you $4 grand for it.
No way. No way. I wouldn't even take it off the trader for $4 grand.
I know, but you have to look at my situation. You know, I got to try and resell this thing.
Right.
Okay, and it's going to sit for a long time. You know,
No.
People do not walk into my store too often going, hey, dude, do you got a mortar?
You know why? Because you don't have them.
$5 grand.
Let's split the difference, $7,500, and Ron, I'll do it.
$6 grand.
You know you're getting a good deal.
Yeah, I got to sell this thing.
7,000. We'll call it good.
6,500.
No, 7.
6,500.
Go 7. You go
I'll
7.
go 6,500, and you got to shoot it for me.
All right, you got me. 6,500. That's the deal.
That's if it fires safely and doesn't blow up.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Corey, chum, unload this thing. I've wanted to see this thing fire from the moment I saw it. And after he's done setting it up and prepping it, it's showtime.
Now, one real important thing is we don't stand in front of this because their powder's already in there, it's fused, it's ready to go. Just drop it in and you're ready to rip.
Okay, if this thing fires and don't blow up, 6,500.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right. Chum, ready to light it?
Let's do this.
Do it.
I sure hope Chum doesn't screw this up. Last thing I want is another workman's comp claim.
Fire in the hole!
This thing exceeded all expectations. It's awesome. I can't wait to show it to the old man. You got a deal, man.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk about adding extra security to the shop.